Now we move on to Rugbrød, the star of Denmark. It's rye bread. We heat up about 400 milliliters of water on a very low flame. To this water, we add 20 grams of yeast. Crumble it in and let it dissolve. Make sure the water is not too hot or boiling, or else you'll kill the yeast. And also make sure that when you add the yeast, the pan is off the flame. Now we pour this water into a bowl and add about 150 milliliters of buttermilk. To this, we add 1 tablespoon of golden syrup. To this, we add 30 grams of sunflower seeds, 30 grams of flax seeds, and 30 grams of white sesame seeds. We can also add cracked rye if we want. 165 grams of whole wheat flour. This bread has absolutely no white flour. And we add 375 grams of rye flour. And on top of that, a good helping of salt. And then we bring everything together. Now we tip this dough on a surface. We don't flour the surface, it's not really all that sticky. And knead the dough for 10 whole minutes. And once it's come together and it's quite nice and smooth, we keep it back in the bowl, cover it with some cling film, and now we set it aside to rise for 2 hours. And 2 hours have passed now, and our rye bread dough has also doubled in size. So now, if you pay a little attention to this dough, it's not stretchy and elasticy like the other doughs. In fact, it's very crumbly. This is exactly how the rye bread dough is supposed to be. You put it in a pan and flatten it out. There is a special Danish pan that the Danes use, which is perfectly rectangular and not tapering like this pan. But it's very hard to find that pan anywhere outside Denmark. So make sure you flatten the top completely and make sure you fill about between half and 3/4 of the entire pan. So now that this is done, we will cover it with cling film and leave it aside for about half an hour to 45 minutes till it rises and comes to the top. So our bread has risen appropriately. It's nearly come up to the top. With a skewer, wooden or metal as I'm using, we make incisions in the bread. And we put this in the oven for 1 hour 10 minutes at 200 degrees. As we take this rye bread out, still quite hot, we put it in a plastic bag and seal it and leave it there to cool down completely, because rye bread tends to be very hard and crusty on the outside. So to reduce the toughness of the crust, we put it in a plastic bag so that all the steam condenses and makes it nice and moist. We leave this aside until it completely cools down. So time to check on our bagged Rugbrød. Well, seems to be quite good.